Hi, everybody. This is Shelley Piken, and you are watching Prophets of Rock, the Erica James Show. Enjoy.
So much. This is the Erica James Show podcast. This week, I have with me the multi-talented, incredible American songwriter, Nicole. I gotta read out some stats here before we get going, guys. I mean, Nicole, she's an American Grammy Award winning recording artist, singer, songwriter who was signed to So So Def and EMI in 2007. She released her first single, Pinch Me, produced by Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox, two powerhouses, in June 2011 via Blackground Records / Interscope. And in 2015, Cristyle independently released a 7-song titled Masterpiece. It's an EP. She has an official video. Please check that out. She's now back, and I've heard it, guys. It's incredible, with an incredible new single called Miracle, which is available now on Spotify and I presume elsewhere as well. She has written for some of your favorite artists. I mean, the list is endless. Janet Jackson, Jennifer Lopez, Teyana Taylor, Keke Palmer. She's co-written with Mariah Carey. Touch My Body, Touch My Body. She wrote this. Rihanna, Only Girl in the World, which won a Grammy Award for Best Dance Recording. Ciara, I mean, it's just endless. And, we welcome her onto the show. We're so lucky and blessed to have the opportunity to speak with her. She's a busy lady from the A. And, it just goes on and on. She also won a Best Contemporary R&B album as a songwriter with I Am Sasha Fierce, which is Beyonce's album. My favorite song on the album, Scared of Lonely. I mean, that's just beautiful, beautiful. And she's just so talented. She also wrote on Monica's album, the Still Standing album, which is, if you know it, is one of the best Monica albums as far as I'm concerned. And we're so lucky to have her on the show, guys. Thank you so much, Cristyle. How are you doing today?
I'm blown away. I'm overwhelmed by
Those are your stats.
what
I
you're.
mean, you did it.
Yeah, I don't often look at the stats, and so it really always throws me because it really is a blessing. And I mean, I always tell people when I go in the studio, I'm not coming in with the songs I wrote yesterday. I'm coming in thinking of what am I going to do today? How can I top, be my best self today? So it sometimes I do need to just kind of go back and read the stats and be like, wow, like
You
that's a lot of blessing for someone who didn't graduate from high school and was not picked first for anything and is always unqualified in every room I walk into. So to hear that, it's just kind of a realization of how good God is.
It is, because whoever was first will be last, and whoever's last will be first. And I think the thing with you and your story that I love so much, and if with the masterpiece, because I was hearing the song called I Am yesterday. Well, I've been
Mm,
hearing it, but I've been really tuning into what that is, because you've had such a profound journey and you've never let anything hold you back. And
mm.
so when you hear those stats, when you hear those songs, do you go back to that place that you were when you were writing? I mean, look at Only Girl in the World. I found out really about you through ASCAP, as well as looking
Yeah.
at your name on all the albums, etc. And what struck me was that you said that you didn't really know if it was a hit after you wrote it. So
No clue.
how did you come to understand that that was such a jewel? Was it until after Rihanna sung it? I mean, when was it? What happened?
Definitely. So I'm probably my own worst critic.
Oh wow.
And when I'm in the sessions, I'm just kind of in this mode of trying to create something that is an anthem. I like anthems and I like creating things that I feel like people can sing all across the world. And so that day in particular, I was in with Stargate, and I mean, they produced everything for everybody. And they gave me 3 tracks to play around with. And I had already tried writing a song on 2 of the tracks. So the Only Girl in the World track was like the last one. And the previous 2 that I wrote, I just didn't like the ideas. I didn't like the melodies. And I was like, no, this ain't it. This ain't it. And I was like, come on, like, this is a Rihanna writing camp, it's tons of writers, all over the studio and tons of producers. And I think the pressure of trying to top what somebody else was doing next door to me, I think that was throwing me out of my zone. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I just, by the time I got to that last track, the Only Girl in the World track, it felt like a movie to me. And I saw the whole scene, the whole movie, and just her like just walking down the street, like just this boss chick, and
Wow.
she didn't need anybody. And she was like this in the vision, she was the only girl.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
was gonna
kind of where it got birthed out of that.
I was gonna say that because if you listen to the lyrics and what I love about your version, I mean, is the original, but when you really just listen to the lyrics, it's a woman taking like she's very assertive. Like I want to
Yeah.
be everything to you.
Yep.
Was that a subconscious thing? I mean, was there any stories? How you
That's
came to write it? Did you know it's like what you want Rihanna to say? How did that happen?
that's such a great question, right? Because whenever I'm writing, so I'm always trying to serve the artist. You know what I mean? Like that's my job is to honor and serve the artist and their brand and their legacy. And I want to make sure that I create something that it feels personal to them and it's like they were there and they were writing it themselves. So there's that one side. But then on the other side of that, I've never written anything that I've been disconnected from myself personally. So I think if I'm honest, and no one's ever asked me that question, so this is going to be a fresh answer. Honestly, as I'm writing that song and I'm visualizing, Rihanna in this mode, it's just boss mode. I'm also visualizing myself as I think I was telling the industry, I want you to love me like I'm a hot ride. I want you to be thinking of me. I want to be treated in this game, in this industry, like I'm the only girl in the world. And I want to be set apart, you know what I mean, and made and treated special because I felt like just another number often.
Wow.
And so I think, yeah, a part of me probably was screaming that out from my own self.
Like a mantra.
And yeah, 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 because my songs there's always dual meaning. And so for me, I feel like that's how they're so personal because I'm not disconnected. Like it's not like just, oh, I just want to write whatever the artist wants to sing. It's also pieces of me in there and I can pull from that to make it more authentic.
No, of course. And, thank you for sharing that story because I got that all the way in England. I mean, that song was like, we have our national anthem, yes, but 2010, 2011, it didn't,
Yes.
wasn't what, like, Only Girl in the World, just, it soared. It did.
Wow.
And, your words are so powerful. Like, I want you to love me. Like, oh gosh, it's just an incredible song. Your pen. I mean, did you know you wanted to write songs when you were like a kid? How did you know you were gifted in that way to tell
Oh my
stories?
gosh, it was the total opposite. So I grew up just singing, like everybody, my family sang, my mom, my dad, and my sister. We used to sing on our way to the grocery store. We used to harmonize. I was like 4 or 5 years old. And so all I knew was singing. And I grew up listening to the greatest of all time, Whitney Houston, and
Yes.
Mariah, and so many other vocalists, Brandy. I used to mimic their tones and their vocals. And so my mind never translated that someone was writing these songs. I never paid attention to that, like how you actually went and looked for the
Yeah.
writers in the back of the CD sleeve. Like I was oblivious to that. I was just like, I just want to sing. And when I was told after being in different singing groups and trying to catch fame with different girls that I was going to school with, after a manager told me that I was unattractive and I was too dark and too fat and too ugly to ever be a singer, that's when the writing kind of became an outlet really for me to voice my frustrations about the idea that I basically felt like God put a voice in me in a package that was not something that the industry or the world wanted. And so I was frustrated by that. And I started writing songs as therapy, really, to just kind of get some frustrations out. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, this is a whole bop. Like, I know
Yes.
this is therapy, but this gotta
Oh,
go hard though.
it does, because you turned all that like pain into purpose. And for, did you say a teacher said that to you?
Yeah. Well, he was kind of like he was like my record label, I guess, if you will. I was kind of signed to him, and my group was kind of put on through him, and also my husband. He was in a group at that same label, so me and my husband met competing against each other in talent shows. So
Ah,
so our house is crazy because now we got a 4-year-old that's singing too, and she's not allowed to be off key
out.
around here. Like
Look out. Like, no, no,
it's,
no, no,
it's
no.
like I know you 4, baby, but Michael Jackson was a star at 5. We can't use that
Listen,
excuse.
my niece is 8 years old. I've got her playing every instrument known to man
Yes.
and woman. Okay, so I
Yes.
absolutely get it. But thanks for sharing that story, because I mean, look who's laughing. Look who's laughing now. And I mean, look who's laughing now. Look at the success that personal success as well as professional success that you have,
Yeah.
and you don't, you're bitter by it, but you've turned that into something powerful. And do you
Yeah.
feel, because you sing as well as write songs, do you feel as if songwriters, especially when you are brown skin, get pushed, as we are, get pushed to the back? And it's so ridiculous, because you see Sade, you see like a number, especially in the 90s, I'll say, for example,
Mm-hmm.
Brownstone, SWV. These women were not only just selling in the R&B space, selling in the pop space, selling
Yeah.
around across the world. Do you think, and probably yes, that a lot of songwriters, especially when they look a certain way, get pushed towards the back a lot and not taking
Yeah.
that front space? It's ridiculous.
I I think so. I think right now in our climate it may be shifting a little bit.
Mm.
Um Melanin is a lot is becoming a little bit more appreciated,
Yeah.
but I mean it's still what it is, and there's still certain things that as a darker brown skinned girl I've been told, like, we have to be a certain level of top tier, like everything from head to toe. One strand of hair can't be out of place on me because I'm a darker brown girl versus maybe a lighter brown girl. She can,
Yeah.
she can roll with ponytail and sweatpants, but since she has a lighter hue, she may not run into some of the same problems that I've kind of run into in the past. But I do think that there is a bit of a climate change. It hasn't fully changed yet, but there's definitely something brewing, and there's some great artists today that are darker brown and kind of being respected. But as far as songwriting specifically, I think it's hard to be taken seriously as an artist when you're a songwriter and you're, you know, darker skinned. It just kind of it's almost like a three-way strikeout, and it's not like you can't do it. It's just that the road is so much more difficult.
Of course, and thank you for that, because you can just see it is, and it's so unfortunate when we look at
Yeah,
Janet, when we look at a plethora,
yeah,
Erica Badu, there's no box that brown skin, dark skin, brown skin should be in. We could do
hmm
everything. So it's ridiculous. But thank you, because it's something that needs to be spoken about.
yeah.
And like you mentioned, you grew up listening to Mariah Carey. How did it feel to be in the studio writing and working alongside Mariah? What was that experience like?
As many things as I've been blessed to do, that is one of the things that stands out to me the most, and probably always will.
Uh,
Just being I got signed as a songwriter to EMI Publishing slash Jermaine Dupri.
mhm.
And I remember specifically my manager trying to push the envelope to get Jermaine to put me in with Mariah. And Jermaine was just kind of like, no, she's not ready to work with superstars. Matter of fact, we weren't even going for Mariah yet. We knew that that was outside of the stratosphere. We were going for Bow Wow and Omarion. At that
Oh,
time,
yeah.
Bow Wow and Omarion were doing an album, and my manager, along with someone else who had always been in my corner, this guy named Stone,
hmm
he was working with Jermaine, and he was trying to tell Jermaine, hey, let's put Cristyle in with Bow Wow and Omarion, kind of get her kind of introduced in. And Jermaine was like, nah, she's not ready to work with superstars. And so he was like, we gotta, because he would send me tracks, Jermaine, and just kind of, see where I was, songwriting wise, and see how easily I was to adapt and rewrite things and stuff like that. And so he didn't feel I was ready. And then I didn't get the Bow Wow Omarion call.
Okay.
But then I'm getting off of a flight from, I think I had just finished working with Rodney Jerkins.
Wow.
And I had done like 2 weeks with him, and I'm getting back home off of a flight, and I get a call to go in with Mariah. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So we was just shooting for, Bow and Omarion, and I wasn't, qualified for that. Yeah. And I'm like, what happened to land me to be the phone call for the Mariah? And I just remember going to that studio, and I'm in my mind, I'm back in my room with my comb and brush as a microphone, and I'm singing Vision of Love. I'm singing Love Takes Time, and just all the greats. Mm-hmm. And so this lady walks in this studio. She walks in with the Brat, which I was like a huge Brat fan. I'm from Atlanta, So Def, all that. So I'm like, yes, I'm like, here comes the Brat and Mariah Carey. Wow. And she comes right in, and I'm trying to figure out, what do I say? How do I introduce myself? And she goes, Cristyle, it's so nice to finally meet you. And I about died. Like, she knows my name. Who told her my name?
Oh, wow.
And it was just the coolest, man. It was all night long to probably like 3 or 4 in the morning. And there was one point that I tell people about, that stuck out to me, and this will be with me for life. There was a point where we're writing the song. I think that night we were writing a song called Cruise Control that ended up on the E = MC² album.
Yeah.
And we paused from writing, and I'm just kind of like, I'm like, yo, let me just slide into fan mode for a minute, because I'm very, very good with, like, I don't do fan mode when I'm in songwriter mode. But we paused, and I was just like, yo, like, I'm just be honest with you, I'm like trying to keep myself together around you. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, oh, no. And she started talking about a song. I can't remember what the song was. Oh, anytime you need a friend, I will be here.
Yes.
We start singing that together and harmonizing, right? Uh-huh. So I'm literally about to lose my mind, because I'm like, I'm in the studio writing new music with Mariah Carey, and we're talking about her old music. And I'm like, yo, this part you do right here. And she's like, no, well, my favorite part of the song was this. And I'm harmonizing with her. At that point, I was like, all right, Jesus, I'm good. Like,
that's it. Like, what more?
What else we doing?
That's incredible. Done. Oh my goodness. I mean, memories like that, I'm just sure you're just going to cherish forever. Like, that's the music box. Like, what made her go to that, like, song in particular?
Yeah. Her favorites were always like not the ones that everybody was like gawking on. It'd be like one that you didn't like. We talked about that song. We talked about Butterfly. Oh, because I was like, yo, I gotta know, like, how did you hold that note on Butterfly that lasted for like 5 minutes?
So, like, like, to me, that song, for me, the way and I love Hero. The way people love Hero is the way I listen to Butterfly. I love, and even the one with Bone Thugs. There's a song with Bone Thugs and Harmony.
What was the Bone Thugs song?
Yeah, that song was.
I know what you're talking about.
It was just incredible though. I love that era of Mariah. Every era, to be honest. And Touch My Body. Oh my gosh, that went #1 in so many places. Did it surprise you, the success? Like, obviously.
Yes, that was my first #1 record, and.
Oh, congrats.
I couldn't believe that we wrote that record on the beach. What? Like, her house was, the backyard was the beach. Wow. And so as it's going #1 and people are calling me and they're like, you got the #1 record on Billboard. I'm like, it didn't feel like I was at work though. It was weird, because I was like, but I was on the beach, and I was like walking on the beach with MC. Like, wow. That was work. And I remember my mom called me and she was like, what you doing? I was like, I'm here at Mariah's, I'm writing. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, okay, well, you're working hard. I was like, yeah, we just got off the beach. And she was like, that don't sound like work. And I was like, no, it's inspiration. You know what I mean? Like when we say, I want you to caress me like a tropical breeze, that's
Literally.
what we doing. We out here experiencing the tropical breezeness of it all.
Wow. I mean, that's just, do the best songs come to you, I guess, when, in that case, when you're more relaxed? What advice do you give, I guess, to songwriters who maybe experience writer's block? Would you just say relax, go for a walk, go to the beach, relax? Do you think it comes naturally to you when you just
That's a good one. I have learned that I don't have the luxury of writer's block. And I always tell people that because I've had to learn how to create a beach environment in me, even when I'm like sitting at a desk.
Incredible.
You know what I mean? Like I'm always listening for the next song because I think music is the soundtrack of life. And so if you just allow life to happen, there's a song in it. So I'll be in the grocery store and two people are arguing. And I'm like, well, that's unfortunate, but you said something there that sounds like a hook. I hope y'all work it out.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go write this hook though, because that was good. So I don't have, you know, the Mariah experience is a once in a lifetime kind of thing. Yeah. It's not always to that degree where you could just go and hang out on the beach with an icon. And so I've had to learn how to create those moments in my mind or just in my vibe. If it's something as simple as I go in the studio room, I make sure the lights are a certain kind of way. You know, I love candles, just little things, practical. I try not to get into a lot of crazy phone conversations while I'm in my zone, like because the littlest thing can snatch you out of your zone if you're in the middle of vibing to music. And so I try to tell people to just kind of protect your space, protect your headspace, also protect your headspace from people's expectations of you. You know what I mean? Like I can't go in thinking about how you expect me to touch my body, or you're expecting only girl from me. I don't have time for that. I have to kick you out of my headspace so that I can go in and be who I'm called to be. And then once it's over, then we can get back into all of that. But it's a very protected area. You got to put on your helmet, you know what I mean, and go in and just kind of break down walls.
Wow. Whew. Crystal, that's just a word. There's so
that is kind of a word. That's a little bit of a word.
That's a word, but that's what people need to hear. And thank you so much for saying the importance of like protecting your energy. And in terms of that, I mean, you've had both sides where you've done the major thing, but you're also independent now, I think since 2013, 15. And you've like literally consistently put out great music. Like with Miracle, which is on Spotify now. Stream it like crazy, guys. It's incredible. The harmonies are just delicious.
Oh, thank you.
It's true. What keeps you, I guess, so inspired to still be writing and I hear a bit of trap influence, but it's still R&B and pop. What keeps you, as an independent artist now, thinking indie or being indie, but still thinking, I guess, major? What was the deciding point actually with being indie right now?
So that's a double question. I'm gonna grab the what keeps me inspired to keep writing.
Please.
That is so good and timely right now, because there are days where I'm like, does it even matter? Does anybody even hear it? Do I need to just give it up? You know, I have those moments. I've had those moments at the height of my career on the mountaintop, and I've had those moments in the valley. And that is one thing that I know, those moments are consistent. So what I've learned to do is to realize that as long as, that's what it is. I had a conversation with Babyface one time, which was another one of my greatest highlights in my life.
Another legend like yourself.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I remember asking him, I said, do you ever feel like you've run out of things to, write about? Like, like I asked him what you're asking me, how do you keep going? You've done everything. And he was like, the day I feel like there's nothing else to write about is the day that I'm done. but I haven't come to that day yet. You know, there's always music, there's always something worth writing and worth expressing. And so for me, I thought when I became a mother that that would be it. I ran away from motherhood for years because I felt like I'd have to give up all my dreams and goals and aspirations, and I'd be, you know, somewhere knee deep in soccer camp and and not want to do music, you know. And I've realized she's 4 now, and in the last 4 years, I've had more to write about, more to sing about, more to express
Amazing.
than prior, you know, or previous, you know, before her. And so I've just realized that every stage of life is a new album. You know what I mean? Like I have my albums from when I was in my 20s and I was out there, you know, riding around on ball tires and couldn't make it to the studio, and I'm in the repo man looking for my car while I'm trying to write a pre-hook, you
We've been
know, like
there, girl. We've been
that was, yeah, like I remember that so strongly, and that was an album for me in that season. And then I had the season of being at the height of my career, and having, you know, in the studio with Beyonce, with literally icon, like icon after icon, and having to be in the environment with these people who have shaped music and add to their legacy, you know. And that was an album for me. And so now, you know, as a mother, as a happy wife, and being in the life that I'm in now, there's an album that speaks to each stage of a person's journey. And so as a songwriter, my job is to find that song and fill that album. And so there's always something for me to write about and to sing about, especially sing about, because even if I didn't write it, you can't stop me from singing. I think I'm gonna be singing until I'm like 100. Hopefully my notes will still be right.
Oh, still be there. Please never stop. You're so gifted, and we just can't wait to just continue to hear you evolve through the music, because it's just incredible. And we've spoken about Miracle. Can we anticipate another EP, another
Yes, you
album?
can.
Yeah,
I
that's
owe
one.
so many.
Yeah.
I'm in debt. I owe people music. I realized that,
We're
like,
thirsty.
I
We're
was
hungry
talking.
here, Crystal. We're hungry here, Crystal.
Oh man, I owe y'all some music. I'm so wrong. Like I told my husband, I was like, yo, I'm gonna get online and I'm gonna just apologize to people because I have music that you just hadn't heard and I haven't released it. And it's not fair because people should hear it, because it's almost like, you know, there's a parable in the Bible about the parable of talents, where God talks about how,
That's
you
my
know,
favorite.
yeah, you know, like he gave
Go
out
ahead.
different talents to different people, you know. And the one person he gave 5, the other one he gave like 2, and then the other one he gave 1. And the one with 5 and 2, they went out and they multiplied what he gave them. And then the one that had only 1 talent, he's like, well, I'm gonna just hide this, you know what I'm saying, because I don't want to lose it.
That would have
And I
been
feel like
me.
I've done that with songs.
Yeah.
Like
I
there's
was
some songs that I'm some of my greatest work that I feel most passionate about has never been released. And I feel like I've been kind of burying them and hiding them. And so I owe you first of all, a whole album, because
yes.
the EP was the EP, but I owe you an album, you know what I mean? And I just, this year, I literally just sent a session to get mixed like yesterday. And
Oh,
because I'm like, I just got to put stuff, I got to get it out of me, because he won't pour any more into me if I continue to hold on to it. So in
oh.
order for me to make room for more music, God's like, I need you to get out what I put in you.
Yes, please, because your I guess perfect is our enormous. So please just we just can't wait to hear even more. And the EP
Yeah.
masterpiece was a masterpiece.
Oh, thank you.
Miracle is incredible. It is like you're such a genuine talent and gift. So
Wow.
we need it all. And I spoke to Fifi weeks ago on the show, and she's the
Oh,
same
wow.
way, Fifi Dobson.
Yeah.
And she was saying the same thing with her new single. Like she literally was keeping it. And I know when you're
Why do we do
precious,
that?
I think because you guys are geniuses, and you know you want it to be absolutely. Please just give
Perfect.
us
Yeah.
something, please.
Just give us girl.
Just a
Yes.
little piece. But we're happy. We're fed now with Miracle. But please, just keep giving us more.
More.
Yes, yes, yes. And just lastly, because we'll play a short rapid fire game just in a moment, just a quick one.
Okay.
I just want to just touch up on the fact that we've got, new music coming. Your music has been literally been writing with so many incredible people. Lastly, for the Hive, what was it like working with Queen Bee, with Beyonce? What was that like writing with her? Terrific, I'm
Oh
sure.
my gosh. First of all, she got me just like Mariah. She walks in the room and she says, "Hey, Cristyle, I've heard so much about you." And some, for me, coming from where I'm from and being overlooked, it spoke volumes to have someone of that caliber to know me, you know what I mean, and to be excited about working with me. And I learned so much from her, man. I don't know that she's human. She would come into the studio and she would record about 6 songs, like bop, 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 while I'm still struggling on demo number 2, you know what I mean? She was such a professional. She was always on time, which I thought was like mind blowing, because I figured that as you climb the ladder of success, you just stop caring about people's time and you just show up whenever you want to. Queen Bee was on time.
Wow.
She was ready. She was graceful. She was kind. Like, and the cutest thing that stood out to me, she, during that season, I think her and Jay may have been in different, I don't know, maybe different countries or something, who knows? But he came to the studio like the last day or so that I was working.
Wow.
And she was literally in like girl mode, like just her makeup was different, you know what I mean?
Okay, yes.
Like, it was cute, it was adorable, because you could tell that she was excited to see her guy, you know what I mean? And at that moment, she wasn't Icon B, she was just this girl who was like happy to see her man, you know what I mean? And I thought that was so genuine, that she's able to still be that. She's still able to have moments of, I'm actually human. I'm a whole woman, and yes, I'm all those things, but I'm at the same time, I'm human, and I still enjoy, normal things like, oh, my man coming to the studio today. You know what I mean? It was adorable, but I learned a lot about just vocal prep. Like she taught me about putting the heater in the vocal booth to keep the voice warmed up.
Wow.
And also I was sipping on a lot of teas and stuff when I was in with her. And she was like, "Yeah, I don't really do tea. I just do like honey and hot water." Like, and that's really what you need, is the honey and the warmth of the water. And I was like, "Yo, so I ain't got to buy all these teas?" Thank you, B.
Incredible.
But yeah, she was absolutely incredible. After working with her, I really started to take my songwriting ability a little bit more seriously, because I remember her coming in and I was really excited to play her a demo that I had done, because I had studied all her ad libs, and I was like excited for her to hear me try to mimic how she could sound on this record. And she was like, I was like, "Did you hear the ad libs?" Oh, and she's like, "No." She's like, "Yeah, vocally, I mean, it was incredible, but did you hear what you wrote? Like, lyrically, are you listening to yourself? Because this is insane." And up until that point, I still considered myself a singer that could write. It wasn't until then she kind of connected those pieces for me and showed me that, no, you're a whole writer and a whole singer.
Wow.
And you're both, and you're not half of one or a little bit more of the other. And so I'll never forget that. She also made fun of my laptop.
Why?
He used to walk around with this big, like, plasma TV looking laptop. It was like a Toshiba. It was huge.
Oh.
And I remember one day she was in the studio. She was like, "Oh, is that a computer? Or is that a TV?" And I was like, "Oh, snap." So the next day I went to Apple and got me my first MacBook.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
Beyonce clowned my laptop, and I went to Apple and got my first ever MacBook, and I still have that MacBook till this day.
Amazing. Oh, I mean, thank you so much for sharing like that story and that. Wow, Beyonce. So Beyonce is hilarious, talented, and uplifts One thing
She was graceful, man.
yeah.
I probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in this industry, and I've met a lot of great people, but out like overwhelmingly nice, just
Yeah.
generous. And I wish, you know, people always want like, oh, what's the dirt? You know, yo, she was just nice
Mm.
and beautiful. She stepped off the magazine cover, like you look like down on. She really did wake up like that, and that was long before
It was
she
true.
wrote, I woke up like this. Like it was a real deal. She was just gorgeous, and it made it even better that she was a sweet person.
Oh, that's just incredible. I mean, I've never met her, but I sense that she is. She's just one of my
Oh yeah,
favorites. And she's always, I never hear a bad word about her.
yeah.
People that actually know her, like yourself, or have met her. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I know of is how generous, because I remember when I was a teenager and she had like a free concert. She was doing a taping on one of the
Wow.
networks. And I
Wow.
remember being with my sister and a couple friends, and we were like literally in line, and we just see some mopeds and pizza pull up. Beyonce ordered the
Wow.
whole line. This is a free concert, so that line circled. She ordered everyone pizza
Oh,
and
that's
like
so dope.
water, and I was just like, you know, I'm gonna be a fan. I'm gonna be a fan for life.
Yeah.
I had friends that didn't even feed me, and yet my favorite singer fed me. I just knew that was she had my she had my heart.
Right, right.
But no, I love that she uplifts women, and that's just incredible. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, I feel blessed today because of you. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm going to do a quick rapid fire question. So, it's question one. What is your idea of a perfect day?
Oh, a perfect day. One where I first don't have to wake up early. One where I love it when my daughter wakes up and she comes and gets in the bed with us and just kind of snuggles. So I love that. A perfect day is one where the calories don't count. Yes, Jesus. The calories don't count. Where
Amen.
I can eat some Waffle House and it don't show up on me later. You know what I mean? And then I could go and get some pizza for lunch, and then I could have some of JD's vegan ice cream. Shout out.
What's your favorite flavor?
And that everybody is going crazy about apple butter, which I think it's amazing, but that strawberry shortcake joint.
Okay.
Yeah, and the peach cobbler.
Can you please tell him to
It's
make sure it's open to the UK too, because I need to get
oh
me
y'all gotta get we gotta get y'all some of that.
some
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. We struggling out here though. Like I just went to a Walmart the other day and couldn't find it. So we struggling trying to get more of it. But that would be on my perfect day list, and it would not be raining. Me and my family would get in the car and we would just take a drive somewhere. The breeze would be nice, you know. There'd be no war stories on the news, you know what I mean? There'd be no pandemics, you know.
Yeah.
There'd be if I had my perfect day for 24 hours, it would just be people would speak, you know, when you're walking down the street, people would just have random conversation with strangers, you know, just feel like you just feel like love from so many different angles. And I could have like a butter biscuit with no calories at the end of the day. Like,
I love that.
yeah. And there'd be no gyms, you know what I mean? Like we could just shut them down for the day because there's no calories. So there's no reason to be there, you know what I mean?
Out of business. Just put them out of business. You see, that's how I know you're a songwriter, because you just painted a picture just then. I like how you just painted a vivid picture. Just
a whole mosaic. Yeah, that's my perfect day.
And that a couple more questions. What's your favorite movie and why?
Ooh, that's so good. That's so wrong. Oh, you're gonna get me in trouble because there's so many. Okay. My favorite movie. It's like seasonal. Like, what's my favorite movie right now?
Okay.
I really love, I guess I'm gonna go to Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Ooh.
I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
I love it.
I'm a storyteller, so just, you know, the storyline of that is so incredible to me, and the idea that you could have something that everybody wants, and that it tends to turn everybody evil, but you can overcome that, and you could persevere. It's something about the story of the hobbits, and how they were the least, they were the smallest, they were the most insignificant in the whole picture, but they were the ones, Frodo specifically, carried the greatest burden and was able to persevere. And it's at the end of the movie, like the last one, where the king bows down, everybody bows down to these little hobbits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I literally get goosebumps, like, because it's the thought of the least can be the greatest, you know, and how, you know, I'm very, very spiritual, and everything with me, I can see God in anything, and I just feel like that. Like I felt like the least before, and I felt like through humility and being just a good person and trusting in God, He can take this small thing and do great things with it, and eventually everyone will notice and just kind of give props to it. So I love that movie for those reasons.
You know what? I'm sure everyone is going to watch that film this
Oh yeah,
weekend
you gotta go. You gotta watch.
because you done broke it down in a way that I didn't even realize it could
Oh
be
yeah.
broken down to.
Oh, go watch it again. Go. Ooh,
I'm
ooh,
gonna
it's so
watch
good. I literally
it.
just went through it like a couple of weeks ago.
Incredible.
I rewatched
Okay,
it.
I will. Like that's just the oh, amen to everything you just said. And the last thing, you're on a no, actually, I'll get a sneaky second one in. What would you say to your 21 to the 21-year-old you? What would you say to her?
Oh my word. Oh gosh, the 21-year-old Crystal Nicole. I would tell her to calm down. Everything's gonna be all right. She was very stressed and worried about where she'd end up, whether she'd make it in music or not. I remember my mom getting an eviction notice, you know, at our house, and me having to sell upon my keyboard and you know, just different things like that. I remember being fired from my job without knowing what was going to happen with my songwriting,
Wow.
and just being like weeping. It was a just season of just weeping and not knowing if God would remember me. That's that's what I remember. And so I would tell her, God sees you, He remembers you, and you being looked over is not a part of you being insignificant. It's more so Him protecting and hiding you so that He can present you in the right time, in the right season. And the idea of continue to shape and mold who you are, all your little personality quirks, those are they were put there by God, and they make you special, and stop trying to be like other people. Just embrace the fact that you don't fit in, and it's okay. You're not supposed to. You know, I would stress that to the 21-year-old me.
Oh, that's just
I
incredible.
stress that to me today.
I'm 30 and I feel it on every level. And I think a lot of people that feel that way, it's because, like you said, it could be protection. And I feel like now millions of people are able to identify that same feeling and feel connected. I think that's why maybe there's been so much people that really vibe to your words because you've
Mm.
actually felt like that. We've all felt like that. I've
Oh
felt
yeah,
like that so many times growing up. It's just like crazy.
yeah.
But thank
Wow.
you so much for sharing that. And my last question, because I know you're a busy woman, is when you if you were on a desert island, what three things would you bring with you? And I've had some
Oh,
crazy responses, but you just have to. What
I
would you bring
bet
with you?
I bring my Bible,
Oh, yes.
because I'm gonna need that to throw at somebody that come at me the wrong way. I need to be able to just pick that mug up and beat somebody down, but then pray for them for their healing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm gonna bring my Bible. I'm gonna bring I need my husband.
Okay.
I need him, I need him with me at all times, anywhere I am. He is the anchor that God has given me to anchor the big ship that is me, that be like all over the place sometimes. I need that. So I need him. I mean, you only gave me 3 things. I want to bring my daughter, but I guess we're gonna need some water, right? So like I ain't gonna bring her out there so we can all die of thirst. You know what I mean?
You
So
got
I
the
guess
ocean. It's a bit salty, but maybe the water and the
right.
That's a good 3 right there. Oh, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Crystal. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is the Erica James Show podcast. That is the legend, the icon, Crystal Nicole. Guys, check out her new single, Miracle, on Spotify. It is incredible, incredible, incredible. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Crystal Nicole, and you're watching the Erica James podcast show, the only podcast you should be watching.
Oh.